Our political parties in Kenya, deliberately and meticulously formed to be cash cows, yet they are supposed to be spearheading ideologies. That is our question today on yet another exciting edition of Siasa Brigade, your go-to show on matters, governance, and the political landscape here in Kenya, hosted by yours truly, Richard Mwenjo. Indeed, always a pleasure to have you on board. Now with me on this conversation is none other than this man who ages like fine wine. He is Kenya's most sought after political analyst and East Africa's renowned public scholar. The first and the only one of his name, Herman Manyora. Great to see you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, the first of his name, right?
I'm here.
You are here?
Yes, yes.
Your friends continue to be given state appointments. The latest being Rashid Echesa. We are waiting for your name. What happened?
No, come on. You know, this is... Not everybody can be given a job. These jobs are only few, only so many.
You do
and
not have the capacity?
Many. Pardon?
Maybe you don't have the capacity?
Which capacity? I have the capacity to run this country. So what capacity are you talking about? Below being president.
That overthink.
If I can run the country, what is running anything? There's nothing I can't run. I not even just run. I'll make major changes.
Do you pick concern with the latest appointments? Because the same people who've been appointed, many of them you've taken issue with their merit. The people like Rashid Echesa, you've taken issue with Irungu Nyakera. A number of these people who've been appointed into Ruto's government.
I've not taken issues with anybody, with these people, have I?
You faulted them several times of not being competent enough.
I stopped.
You stopped?
I stopped.
Come on.
I stopped, you know. I think, first of all, it must also be clear that at no time have I looked at things the way people look at and say that you must have university education of a certain level and in a certain area. In fact, that's not how I look at life. So my observations are general and they may have very little to do with academic qualifications. I'm intelligent enough and well-read enough to know there are men and women who have made serious contributions to the development of human society in science, in medicine, technology,
economy and all that.
The economy and everywhere else, without any education. I'm intelligent enough to know all these things. I know more than half of US presidents never had college education. So why would I fault a Chesa for not having education, academic certificate? But I'm looking at an individual beyond even the certificates. Maybe an individual his middle name is Scandal. But even that now I have stopped.
You have stopped?
Yeah, I've stopped.
Very well, wait to see how that will unfold.
I've stopped not because of anything, because I think we seem determined in some way to go in that direction. So why can't we go?
To bring on board incompetence.
It's not even a question of incompetence. And I've made this extremely clear. The point I've been trying to make, and I'm getting tired of making this point, is that no country ever developed without implementing meritocracy. The best example being Singapore. Meritocracy. That for a country to develop, for an organization to develop, for an institution to move forward, for every job, for every assignment, you give it to the best available man or a woman. There's no shortcut.
Nothing to do with just gender balance.
No, it's not gender balance, it's not degree certificates.
Regional balance.
It is not who helped you to win an election. It is not anything. It's not how much money you got from people. It is just that no country can develop without mainstreaming meritocracy.
In the labor market.
In other words, you see, the world today is knowledge-driven. Unless your economy is a knowledge-driven economy, you won't go anywhere.
You are doomed to fail.
So we shall remain a poor,
dirty third world country.
Since we are determined to be like that, who am I to stop Kenyans? Let them continue.
If anything, you're heading to retirement. You don't need the country.
So I've had enough. I've played In fact, I'm about to stop this TV.
You cannot.
You see, TV, I've stopped going. This one I'm about to stop.
No, this is your life.
I've done my bit.
This is your life.
I've helped Kenyans to see things. Those who have seen, have seen. But since we are determined to ignore what people are saying, let's go on.
Very well. Straight into today's conversation, we are talking matters, reasons perhaps that inform the formation of political parties in Kenya, and even seen them through executing their mandate. And let's begin with the latest development in the world of politics. That is matters with the Jubilee Party. We've seen the Jubilee leader Uhuru Kenyatta being pitted against some of his then lieutenants, Sabina, Chege and Kanini, Kega, they are in. Which begs the question, for someone like Uhuru Kenyatta, who has used Jubilee as a vehicle to take him to State House, he has served his 10 years, he's now in retirement. On a general observation, what do you think is the reason that makes Uhuru want to firmly grip onto the leadership of Jubilee Party, even after exiting high office? What could be the reason?
I basically have no idea. Because Uhuru has what it takes to end this nonsense immediately. He had what it would have taken to ensure that nobody was playing with Jubilee. So I don't understand the game.
You don't understand the game?
Frankly, I don't understand. As to why he may want to remain with Jubilee, partly because of Azimio and Raila, he doesn't feel like, he doesn't want it to be seen he has discarded them. Remember, Raila sacrificed so much by going to the handshake. He knew he was going to compromise his chances of election in 2022. But he supported Uhuru Kenyatta. So Uhuru might feel it's not good to desert Raila. So holding on to Jubilee is one of those. The other thing is, because UDA has been harassing Uhuru Kenyatta, he might want to fight back. So that could explain. Jubilee
is the only tool that he can use.
Yeah, so that he doesn't want somebody to brag that he has sent him home to Ishaweri. I don't know, but a lot doesn't make sense.
Very well.
Yeah.
But then again, if you look at it this way, at some point Sabina, Chege, in the minds of many, was considered the top lieutenant and loyalist to Uhuru Kenyatta, while when Jubilee was Jubilee, then a very vibrant political party. Would you have ever imagined that a time will come when Sabina, Chege will spearhead that journey of somewhat getting away from Jubilee, or at least showing some sense of betrayal and just going into bed with government? Did you imagine that of Sabina, Chege?
Politicians are prostitutes, so really. They have no shame. Does a politician have a shame?
She was groomed by Uhuru Kenyatta.
They are not grateful. Look at how many people have stabbed Raila in the back. People he has literally lifted from nowhere, held their hand, put them on the national platform. Not only do they desert Raila, but they say all manner of things about him. So politicians have no shame. They are prostitutes. But Kenyan politicians, they are just in another world. Yeah. They have no values. They have no shame. Because you see, while politicians can swallow their words, eat their words, while politicians can change their positions and stand, but in Kenya we do it in a spectacular manner. In Kenya we do it in a manner that really leaves a lot to be desired.
Leaves a lot to be desired.
People have no values. People have no sense of dignity. People are shameless. People are cheap. And I think it is cheapness that is top of them all.
But don't you think it's Uhuru Kenyatta's fault that probably he doesn't have that eye to look into people with unquestionable political loyalty as compared to his successor, that is William Ruto? Remember, during the launch of Aden Duale's book, the president was clear that Aden Duale is one person with unquestionable political loyalty. The same with Kipchumba Murkomen. But if you look at the side of Uhuru Kenyatta, most of his top lieutenants then have decamped from his side. Is it that Uhuru has always been blinded to seeing how to get the best?
Uhuru is a prince. And a prince believes the world is there for him to enjoy and people to serve him. That could be it. But again, at the same time, Uhuru's style may not be Ruto's style. Actually, indeed, there are different styles. And when you say loyalty, how do you know it's loyalty?
Duale has been in Ruto's.
How do you know it's loyalty? Maybe it's material benefit.
Tokenism?
Yeah. There are people who may seem to be loyal, but only because you give them money. When you stop the giving, they go away. Somebody somebody in Kanu, I don't want to mention his name, survived on handouts from Gideon Moy until either Gideon stopped giving or the other side gave more and he left. But he has survived on Gideon Moy's handouts for years, for decades. No, I don't know. That is yours. Not you. I don't know. Me, I'm talking about another man. You are saying another person. Me, I'm another person.
Very well.
You can't know him.
Very well.
You saw what you are calling loyalty may just be cheap materialism. Maybe they are just, maybe Ruto knows how to oil their hands. Maybe. I'm saying maybe.
There's a bait on the hook.
For sure, Uhuru doesn't give people things.
He doesn't?
He doesn't.
Very well. Yeah. But then again, sir, if you look at the future prospects of Uhuru Kenyatta now that Jubilee is really displaying a show of a house that is not organized therein, do you think it somehow tends the image of statesmanship that probably he had walked out of office with, that it's now getting deteriorated day by day? He's losing that shade of being a statesman now that he's been pitted against Sabina, Chege, against UDA, even his former lieutenants like Aden Duale. Do you think that will portend even more doom for Uhuru's legacy?
I'm not so sure about this issue, but I'm sure of one thing.
Which is?
That it was always necessary for Uhuru to get some point when he relinquishes his position in Jubilee and Azimio, for that matter. So I don't want to blame him for not doing it, because you need some little time. The Retirement Benefits Act, the law says 6 months. You should. It is thought you need some time to leave your house in order before you leave, and Uhuru was within that period. But I think you could also forgive him or understand him, because wakati walianza kumchokora. Is it? So they put him in a fighting mood before he prepared to leave. But the ideal situation for a former president is to exit the scene.
Very well.
Watch from far. Because you've gotten to the highest the country can offer you. It is not good for you to come down and fight with small people.
Very well.
Yeah, but the small people also fighting a person like that is also bad manners. It's bad manners.
You said Uhuru was Mount Kenya's kingpin, and getting to Kanini Kega could portend doom for such young politicians.
For
young politicians like Kanini Kega. And
of course there will be casualties. There are always casualties. I have advised people, because I'm a good person, you know. I've advised Sabina Chege, and she knows I'm a good person. I'm advising them, not meeting them, just advising them in public forum. Systems run deep.
And
that's why they are deep state. They run deep. And unlike Sabina Chege, Kanini Kega, Manyora and Richard, they are patient. Those systems are patient. Across the world, they are very patient. They are never in a hurry. And they have deep pockets. They have money. Pesa yao imetoka moshi, ikatoka moto, na ikapoa. Pesa yao imefanya nini? Imetoka moshi na imepoa. Hii ingine unaona watu na ruka hawa nini hasla nini. Hii pesa yao ni dogo ya bado inatoka moto, inawachoma kwa mfuko. The system has money that is still quiet somewhere, and they are patient, and they will get you. Secondly, these big people can never harm each other. There's no way Ruto can harm Uhuru, and there's no way Ruto can harm Raila. These guys belong to the same club. They will never harm each other. So when you are being used by one of them to attack the other, utapotelea hapo katikati. And one thing that defines these people is their ability
to watch over the other shoulders.
To shrug off, you fall down and they never look behind.
And you're done. You succumb.
Throwing you under a bus is never anything to them. They never feel anything.
But they are patient.
And they are patient. They allow you to think you have won small victories, small battles. But Palembele, they will get you. They are waiting for you.
Is that why you've always said that touch a street dog and you know the honor?
Yes.
Could it be the case why people ask why is the deep state to defend
their games are always long range. So Kenyans who are celebrating they have defeated Moi. Where did Moi go? We saw people trooping to Kabarak, crying they haven't been shot out. So what walikuwa nalia wamekataa. More is not even seeing them, but they just want to go there. Including Ruto going there and stand away. Is that not a fact? But we said we had chased more in 2002.
At Uhuru Park,
and he was giving you Uhuru Kenyatta, who became president later.
Uhuru Kenyatta.
So who is clever? These systems, you can't defeat a system.
At some point, people will begin to Ishaweri.
People will troop to Ishaweri tomorrow. You can't defeat a system. A system is crushed, not defeated. This is not a game you can win.
Don't you think by Ruto winning the presidential seat,
No, happy. This is just a battle. Unless he was part of the scheme. You know, he could have been part of the system scheme. Kutoka zamani, we don't know. But if he was just, he get crushed and won, it is a short-lived thing. The owners will come back and take the system. Systems are crushed, especially through a revolution, but not defeated. You can't defeat a system.
And you said many sleep through a revolution.
A revolution is okay. A revolution can clear a system, burn everything until you see ashes. But defeating a system, you can't. You can think you have one or two small things. You think you have defeated more in 2002. Then Uhuru becomes president in 2013.
Like
so
like the phoenix, they rise.
And the Kibaki never touched anything about Moi. The Moi people had been talking all manner of things against. Hiyo study Makasarani inaitwa nini?
Moi International.
Na hii ingine hapa
Nyayo.
What changed? It was a game. It was a con game. Kenyans were just played a game. The idea was to make Uhuru president. And he became president. So if the idea is to make Ruto president for 10 years, he will finish 10 years. And if someone that must succeed Ruto is part of the scheme, he will succeed him.
Whether Gachagua or not.
But the small boys and girls being used by these people, I sympathize with them.
To show loyalty.
Oh, yes.
And to defend government.
No, you don't. You must, if you are supporting somebody, support them intelligently. Don't go overboard.
Like Boni Khalwale.
If somebody tells you, Sabina Chege, take over as Jubilee Party, mimi ni mama Mkikuyu, mimi ni msichana wa Kikuyu hapana. Kwa mila yetu wa Kikuyu, huwezi kalia stuli ya baba yako.
Wacha Jeremia Kioni.
Wacha Kanini Kega achukue. Unaona Kanini Kega anaruka. Sasa wewe Sabina Chege unachukua stuli ya mzee ya baba yako unakalia.
Very well. Then again, before we wind it up altogether, we've seen the on and off obsession. I mean, the perennial obsession with the formation of so many political parties during electioneering periods. Or even when people want to break apart, they go and form other several parties they are in. What do you think informs the obsession with Kenyans coming up with so many political parties? Is it mainly informed by the need to have these parties as a cash cow? Because we are seeing so much money being pumped into the political parties. Do you think we've diverted from using political parties as channels to spearhead ideologies, but we are now just reducing that to cash cows?
There are many reasons. First of all, our background, our history. We were denied political parties. When the space was open, everybody was rushing to open theirs. Secondly, the tribal nature of our politics. Every region, every tribe will want to have a vehicle of their own. That leads to many political parties. But thirdly, because a political party belongs to an individual, he can use it to harass those who want to stand on that political party. So you are forced to seek a smaller party. And because people know there will always be people kicked away, frustrated in the big parties. They are already waiting. And when you come, they charge you $1 million bob they put in the pocket. And then initially, the political parties fund was spread across all political parties. Not like now when there are restrictions of who can get. Currently, it has been ODM and Jubilee.
Yeah, sure.
Before that, when it started, it was every political party. So again, that led to many people to... But basically, the main reason would be because parties are not based on ideology. They are vehicles used by people. So that you know somebody's going to use his party. If you feel you won't agree with him, you start yours. If you can't, you look for a small one, and people are already there with briefcase parties waiting for you to come and pay for nomination.
Then that means we have a long way to go to achieve the healthy democracy that US enjoys.
It will take some little while.
It will take some little while. Well, there you have it from Herman Manyora, dispensing nuggets of wisdom on matters to do with political parties and whether they are living up to their full potential in terms of spearheading ideologies and the reason why they were formed in the first place. Also, we are looking at some of the issues coming up in the world of politics, that being, of course, the issue to do with Jubilee Party, even as its leader is pitted against some of his then loyal lieutenants. We wait to see how that will unfold in the fullness of time. But if you want to get updated on such, make sure you tune in to every of our edition here, that is Siasa Brigade, coming to you at least twice every week, and also on our other editions, that is Business Glide on matters economy, also with Jadiel Kabiro on political conversations, and Evans Okinyi on the candid conversations. Until next time on Siasa Brigade, I'm yours truly, Richard Mwenjo. Indeed, always a pleasure.